Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone in between and adjacent, welcome to the Rush Rundown, what I believe is the first and only 10-minute testing ripoff for Rush Duels. Today I would like to continue with our coverage of the October 1st update by introducing to you Galaxy. Now before we start the card by card, I'm going to take this moment to ask you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below. Usually I put this at the end of the video, but I'm going to do it here in the middle. Anyway, let's start at the top with our skill. Our skill is Galactica Order. Can be activated from turn 2 onward if all monsters with 1400 or more attack in your constructed deck are light attribute Galaxy type monsters. Send one level 7 Galaxy type normal monster from your hand to the graveyard, then add one Secret Order or Meteor Charge from your deck to your hand. Meteor Charge once per duel. Now, I want to say, with the restrictions on Galactica Order, I should mention we do not have a legend monster in the deck, as no legend monsters that are currently released in the game fit under the requirements of Galactica Order. So, no legend monster for us. Now, let's look at the targets for Galactica Order. We have Secret Order. Special summon one level 7 normal monster from your hand or graveyard face up to your field. This turn, the monster special summoned by this effect gains 700 attack and cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap card effects. This is very good, especially considering the current meta. Right now, the previous meta deck, Light Machine, as well as Cybers, both had a card limited to 2. And you'll notice there's another card in our deck also limited to 2, Negate Attack. So those two decks cannot play Negate Attack. They instead have to play Widespread Ruin. Now, part of what Secret Order does for us is it makes our big boss monster immune to Widespread for the turn. It's also guaranteed to be the biggest monster on our field, making it the only target for Widespread, so an opponent who isn't paying attention properly can waste their one of Widespread Ruin on our Secret Order summoned monster. Our other target for the skill is Meteor Charge. Choose one face-up Galaxy type monster on your field. This turn, that monster inflicts piercing battle damage. If it is a normal monster, you can also change the battle position of one monster in your opponent's field. Very nice for piercing over monsters that have very high attack stats and very low defenses, which is very common among the previous boss monsters of Rush. Now, you may be noticing a theme there. Both Meteor Charge and Secret Order have great bonuses if they're used on a normal monster. But I've been mentioning that we are using this on our boss monster because our boss monster is a normal monster. Our boss monster, the most important monster in our deck, the ace monster of Udius, is Galactica Oblivion. Light, level 7, 2500, 2500. Very simple. We just turn this guy into a massive beat stick, turn after turn after turn, and he runs over nearly anything the opponent might have on their field, and he's completely protected from destruction by traps for that entire turn, thanks to Secret Order. Very impressive just how strong this deck is. Our other level 7 target, because we can't just stick with just 3, so we are also playing 2 Cosmo Titans. Light, level 7, 2300, 1800. Cosmo Titan's a little weaker than Oblivion, but we're also at the point where we don't have anything else, so our big steppy giant here is kind of our only option. Now let's get the rest of the normals out of the way. We also have Trans Am Linak, who is a decent house in his own right, being a 1600 normal monster that you just summon. He's basically just a good little beat stick. Keeps early board advantage and then can come back in the grind game. He's pretty decent. You want 3 of him. Our other normal monster is Bright Sentinel. He's 1500. He's just Trans Am, but weaker. That's about it. Now, our monsters with actual effects. We have Strange Traveler. If you have a face-up Galaxy type normal monster in your field, send a top card in your deck to your graveyard, make one face-up monster in your opponent's field lose 500 deck until the end of this turn. This is a very common type of card that most decks have in Rush, where they just have a singular attack modifier, and this is ours for Galaxy. It's a little iffy on how many you play of Strange Traveler. Other decks have been playing upwards of 3 of him, or just 1. I personally like 2. It's just my preference to not overdose on these attack modifiers, especially with the current meta, where that 500 is not letting Strange Traveler get over anything. He's there to support the other guys, and with how much we draw and go through our deck in Rush, we're gonna see him when we need him, trust me. Next up, Rising Light Angel Essel. I've said this in almost every Rush video I've made. Essel is the best card in the game. If you can play Essel in your deck, you should play Essel in your deck. I can't go every video saying what she does. Next up, Trans Am Klein. You have no other monster in your field. Add 1 light attribute Galaxy type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. This turn you can only attack with Galaxy type monsters. This is another common archetypal card we've seen through Rush. I can remember off the top of my head, Beast definitely has one of these. I don't think Dragon does. I believe Spellcaster might have one of these. This is another spot where my list is a little different than others, especially ones I've seen on DLM, where a lot of people play Klein at 2 or none. I've seen plenty of decks playing 0 Klein, which I think is actually kind of absurd. Klein is really good from adding back Galactica Oblivions or Titans back to your hand to then spend for your Galactic Order if you just don't see them. She does get stranded on the field sometimes with her 500 attack, making you pretty vulnerable. So I can understand not wanting to invest into putting her on the board, but she has come up way more times than she hasn't. She hasn't cost me as many games as she has won me, if that makes sense. Back to our Cosmo Titan. I'm playing 2. A lot of people play 1, but I'm looking to resolve Galactic Order as many times as possible, so that's why I prefer 2. Universal Storm is our MST. Gotta play MST. I've chosen Tribute to the Doomed as my legend spell, basically because it combos well with Klein to basically just add back a spent Oblivion or Cosmo Titan for the tribute, that we pretty much just go positive and it's just not even a negative. Legend Trap, negate attack. We have no limit 2s, so we're on negate attack. Simple. And we got Slime. Slime is pretty much a mandatory include in any deck, so we got Slime. And our last trap card, Strange Wall. When an opponent's monster declares an attack while you have a Galaxy type monster in your graveyard, the attacking monster loses 500 attack until the end of this turn. Now, this is another type of card a lot of archetypes have, but I like it especially in this deck because Oblivion being 2500 puts him very, very, very close to the attack stat wise of other boss monsters in the current format. So this Strange Wall is actually a format choice because things like Cyber Twin Dragon are 2800, so a Strange Wall just makes them crash into Oblivion. Our extra deck, I just put in 6 random cards in because I don't want the opponent to know when I'm playing when we load in. So there's the deck. Now let's move into some games. Alright, so our first duel is up against Dragios Fusion, not Turbo. So we're going to go ahead and just do the classic, set our entire hand and pass it to our opponent. They're going to go ahead and Inferno, one of our sets, whatever, they hit our blank, they go ahead and they tribute summon right away Multi-Strike Dragon Dragios. It's something. You always know they have Dragios in the opening hand. So they're going to go ahead and just clear out our board, just smash into everything. There we go. But we had a great draw. We go ahead and use Essel's effect to see if we can possibly mill anything out, and we hit a Galactica Oblivion on the Essel mill. Another big bonus for why we're playing Essel in this deck. Anyway, so we go ahead and have our 3200 Galactic Oblivion. We're going to go ahead and throw down our MST, pop the back row. It was nothing. And we go in and we clear out the Dragios. We're looking pretty good. However, another Dragios does put us in a pretty awkward position. Pass it back to our opponent, see what they can open up. Going ahead, normal, any dragon really. This just happens to be that guy. I was a little scared at this point in the duel until this part. realizing, oh, they just have the Star Dragon. I don't have to worry about a second Dragias crashing down on me. Now, I was worried at this point because I did set a secret order, and being 3 deep is pretty bad, especially if they have something like their own MST again. We'd be in a really rough position. But nope, the opponent didn't open anything crazy, so they just crash over our Oblivion with their Star Dragon. However, they are clearing our board. And if you'll remember, from our first turn, we set a Trans Am Climb, meaning at the start of this turn, we can go ahead and, well, tribute to the Doomed, popping their big monster, flip the Klein effect, add back Oblivion, Galactica Order, pitch the Oblivion, add Charge, go ahead and Secret Order, bring back the Galactica Oblivion, charge, putting the opponent's monster to defense position, and giving Oblivion Piercing. We'll go ahead and normal summon a 1500 guy, and go right ahead to... Oh, the opponent has a trap card. They have the brand new Dragon's Fortitude trap card to put down our attack by a bit. However, 25 plus 15 plus 5 is still over lethal. So we just go ahead and clean up the duel from here, attacking in with Klein for game. That was a very clean game. That was a very, very clean game. The opponent didn't get to see their Dragias fusion, unfortunately for them, but fortunately for us, we get to move on to our next duel. Alright, our next duel is up against Miss Mutton. And while I'm not sure Miss Mutton is particularly meta for the format, personally I think it's more of a meme deck, this duel is all the worth showing. So let's go ahead and get started. We actually won a coin toss for once. It's pretty surprising. They're just going to go ahead and set a card, summon out 2, and then tribute them for Miss Mutton herself. Passing there. Go ahead and pitch our Cosmo Titan to get Secret Order, to then Secret Order him right back to the field at 3,000 attack points, and then we drop double Trans Am Lilac to get in for a massive amount of damage. Unfortunately, our opponent seems to have not read Secret Order, so they try to widespread ruin our Titan, which does not work out in the slightest. So we're going to go ahead and get in for all our damage, and then pass it back to them. They're going to start with a Secret Order of their own. Yes, Miss Mutton does in fact play Secret Order, putting her to 3,200, revealing that they have also drawn the Meat and Greed. If you are not familiar, this card gives Miss Mutton 3 attacks, and now Servant of Dawn pumping her to 3,800. We might be dead on board. 2,200, 1,500, and another 2,200, leaving us at 100 life points. If I had summoned the Bright Sentinel instead of Lilac, we were dead on the spot. Now we've opened 2 Klein in our next turn, so we're able to add back Titan, pitch Titan for Galactic Order to get Secret Order back to our hand, Secret Order back the Titan, which basically is just we're negotiating the end of the game. 3k in. Now I go to attack in with the Bright Sentinel and reveal that the opponent had set a 1,500 defense point monster. If I had attempted to swing in with Klein, we would be dead on the spot. Thankfully we set 2 trap cards on our turn, which can keep us alive, or else we would be in very dire straits as they tribute 2 for a Galactica Oblivion of their own. Go ahead and Servant of Dawn, try to pump their monster up. However, to be unfortunate, we drew the buffered Slime. They hit the wrong set card, so we are living this turn. Sending 2 to the grave, we have our entire field wiped. Then we go ahead and see what we draw. And we couldn't have asked for better draws. Alright. Let's just keep it simple. Secret Order, bring back Titan. Strange Traveler, pump down their monster, and go ahead, Titan. 500 over the Galactic Oblivion. Then we swing in to Gazelle and finish them off with the Strange Traveler. Very, very risky game. We were incredibly close to losing a couple times there. And now for game 3. And this is a 1v1 versus the meta. Our opponent is playing what else but Cyber Dragon, the deck that is taking over the format. Tier 0 meta deck. We just go ahead, set our entire field, and pass it up. Because of course, we lost the coin toss. Thankfully, they don't open with any crazy Cyber Dragon combo. We were in a very bad spot if they turn 1 Cyber Twin, which is what usually happens against Cyber Dragon. But thankfully, they only saw 1 Proto in the opening hand. And we have a great draw to start us off. Galactic Oblivion pitched for Secret Order. Secret Order him right back to the field. 3,200 drop double Lilac to have big beefy monsters on our side of the board. We're just going to go ahead and clean up the opponent's board. Following that, we pass back to the opponent, and they have an open board, and we should be very worried about what they can do. Thankfully, that was not a Cyber Dragon, but a Proto. Going to go ahead and tribute summon Cyber Search Dragon, activate the skill, pitch, add back a Proto, to then reveal they have drawn the other Proto. They're going to summon 2 Protos, activate Fusion. Hey, have you heard this one before? Fuse for Cyber Twin Dragon, which they will now clean up our board. Thankfully, last card was not any kind of significant threat, just a 1400 monster, so they're just going to go ahead, wipe our board, and it'll hit us in the face for 1400. Very rough goings, but that's Cyber Dragon, baby. Alright. We draw, and we have a damn good draw. Go ahead and climb, add back Galactic Oblivion, order, pitch the Oblivion, add Secret Order back the Galactic Oblivion, and then we don't want this climb to be trapped on our field, so we're going to head summon a Strange Traveler, use this effect, pump the guy down, tribute to the Doom, pitch our other Traveler, pop the card, and tribute summon our other Oblivion. We're just go right ahead and clear off the opponent's board once again, praying they do not open Cyber Dragon in their next hand. Unfortunately, this is Cyber Dragon, so it's very likely that they draw Cyber Dragon here. So go ahead, they start. Cyber entry is good enough. Normal Aim Eagle, tribute summon, Ancient Gear Golem. However, they have made a critical mistake. As they use Cyber entry, they cannot battle with non-light attribute machines. So they're passing it back to us with just a 3,000 Golem and 2 unknown back row. We have not seen any of their trap cards yet, so we're going to go ahead and storm the middle one, because that's where they always put the best card, and we hit negate attack. Now, you'll notice, the opponent tributed an Aim Eagle to summon this Golem. Aim Eagle is limit 2. They are on 1 Aim Eagle, so they can play both Aim Eagle and negate attack. Not the kind of way I would play the deck, but it's an interesting thing. If the opponent is playing without respecting negate attack because they see the Aim Eagle, or if they play without respecting the Aim Eagle because they see the negate attack, it's actually a pretty decent mind game you can play with the opponent. Anyway, back to the game. We Secret Order back Titan. We are tied with the Golem, which is fine because we attack in, realize the last back row is fake. We thankfully hit the best card, and we swing in for Galactic Oblivion for game. We are very lucky the opponent did not see any of their Cyber Dragons that game. Thankfully, it was just Proto and Search, because any other Cyber Dragon monster would have destroyed us. So we're back with the deck, and hey, that was pretty good. It was a little rocky in some spots. The opponents kind of had decent chances to destroy us, but we prevailed. Now let's talk the pros and cons. First, the cons. We only get 3 Secret Order and we can't do anything after we spend them. This is everything for this deck, and in the current state, there's nothing we can put in the deck that puts Secret Order back in our deck in a meaningful way. So when we run out of Secret Order, we are legitimately out of options. As well, when we're pitching the level 7 or higher monsters to then summon off Secret Order, we could end up having weaker monsters kind of stranded on our field. We might end up in a spot where tribute summoning over them might be better, but all our big guys are in the grave, so we're kind of stuck. Anyway, the pros. Searching Secret Order is insane. There are so many decks splashing Secret Order in that, like, they just want to hard draw the card to see it. We search it, and we have such a powerful monster that we can summon off Secret Order. It puts us at a higher level just because we get to abuse this horribly broken card. As well, not having any limit to monsters, letting us play negate attack is a big buff. As well, we have basically a future proofing. There is a bunch of broken Galaxy cards that have not been added to the game yet that will be coming at some point. Obviously, we can't tell when. There's no way to know when, but there is so many out there that this deck is going to be like Light Machine, where it's always this little lingering threat, where Light Machine is currently in the like Cyber Dragon area. Any broken Light Machine support goes there, and any broken Galaxy support will go into this deck and make it stronger. Basically, the only thing that they could do to kill this deck is putting any other of their key cards at limit 3. Anyway, that's the deck. Thank you for watching this video. I know I said it earlier, but please, if you watched to this point, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and actually, when you go leave your comment, why don't you tell me what deck you want me to do next? As you can see from the right hand side of the screen, I do have a whole bunch of cards for various other decks. So why don't you leave in the comments which one of these decks you want to see? I'd very much appreciate it. That's all you're going to hear from me today. So I'd like to say thank you once again for watching, and goodbye.